Hello YouTube, this is Ryusei881 bringing you another Wi-Fi battles. Alright, so I'm going to do some double battles from now on, because I'm into the VGC circuit, not so much the singles anymore, just because I'm trying to practice. I'm going to these regionals and such, and hey, might as well put some videos up on my YouTube. So here's one, against Aaron, or Toxicroak from Cerebi.com. Chat room, Wi-Fi, of course. Anyway, so he leads off with a Polytoad Krogunk, or Toxicroak, which is a nice little bit of a combo. You know, a little bit of rain team going on here. As you saw in the team preview, he doesn't have the Kingdra, so he's kind of like this is his rain team type of thing. So here, I go for the Power-Up Punch on the Polytoad, figuring getting some damage on it, and doubling my attack with, you know, obviously 2 stages of attack and Power-Up Punch, because Kanga's amazing. It's strong, it's powerful, it's ugly, and it has 2 things, and yeah. So here he goes substitute, and like I'm thinking that my Kangaskhan could totally handle a substitute Krogunk. You know, I'm like, yeah, whatever, that can handle that. And then he hits me with a Hydro Pump. Now I don't know if it was specs or not, because out of the two battles we have, Polytoad only does 1 attack. You'll see later on. But so I went for the Will-O-Wisp and obviously failed on the sub. And I did that because I didn't know I was predicting the fake out actually from the Toxicroak. So here I go for the Earthquake, thinking getting some damage on both of the dudes, and then going straight for the Thunderbolt. And this was because most Polytoads run the Lightning Resist berry that makes it so that it doesn't, you know, my Rotom's Thunderbolt won't KO it from like 3/4 or something like that. It has to be below. So that's why I did the Earthquake, get some damage on it, so that I'm 100% sure that I was going to kill it. But it doesn't have the Resist Berry. So then Toxicroak goes for the Bulk Up, and now he's got Bulk Up, he's got Attack, and like the Intimidate. This is new. Intimidate doesn't work through subs. That's a new thing that they changed, which is quite interesting, and I'm going to start abusing that more. So here he goes into Mawile, and I'm like, oh, Mega Mawile. I go straight for the Will-O-Wisp onto Mega Mawile, since I know I'm faster, and Burn Mawile is better than Mist Hydro Pump. So I go straight for the Will-O-Wisp with the Rotom. His Toxicroak goes for the sub, and I went for the Earthquake, just obviously just get some damage on both of the dudes, because like damage is awesome. So he goes for the Play Rough, and since he's burned, it does about half, a little more than half, which is, yeah, it's about average. I have a full HP investment Rotom with full special. You know, it's pretty standard Rotom set right here. I also like that they added Dark Pulse to Rotom, which it's helped me out so much. Just having that dark move with the chance to flinch, ooh, it's pretty nice on Rotom. So anyways, here he's going for the Drain Punch, and instead of taking out the Rotom, he went for the Gyarados to try to get some damage on it, and suck up some life. And I go for the Thunderbolt on the Krogunk, or Toxicroak, you know, to break the sub and try to reveal the Krogunk so that I can possibly Earthquake with Gyarados. Even though Gyarados is -1, I was thinking about switching out him, but I felt at that point like just doing the Earthquake, doing the damage, was more important than getting rid of the attack debuff. So Mawile dies to the burn, and then now here is where I feel I'm safe to switch out. So I switch out to my Garchomp, because I know that Garchomp Earthquake will do a lot to the Toxicroak, and I figured Toxicroak was going to substitute anyway. And, you know, that essentially wasted his turn. And I'm going for the Thunderbolt for the Azumarill. I figured it was going to kill it, but it lives with very teeny about HP, and I'm like, oh. And Garchomp dies to a Play Rough. And I'm like, okay, this is a bad situation. I'm gonna lose, you know? But I end up going back into Gyarados. So at least I lost a dude, but I lost my Intimidate, or I lost the -1 on Gyarados. And now I'm making his Azumarill -1, and substitutes, wow, they definitely buffed substitutes in 6th gen. So he goes for the Aqua Jet, because that's kind of like the only thing he can do. He gets a crit, which is cool. And then I go for the Shell Bell. I go for the Earthquake. He has Shell Bell for some odd reason instead of Leftovers. I don't know. I don't know if I like Shell Bell on a Azumarill. I probably would just put leftovers on it, just because Azumarill might. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Shell Bell's nice. Like, it's not consistent. So here, Toxicroak with a +1, I think, at this point, maybe a +2, goes for the Drain Punch and knocks out my poor little Rotom. Aww. So here, I go into my Chandelure, and I'm Scarfed, but I am still fearing the Sucker Punch from the Krogunk, but I just go straight for the Shadow Ball because I feel like, I don't know. And then here, Gyarados goes straight for the Taunt because, like, every Aegis Slash is all about Swords Dance, Night Shield, blah blah blah. And then he goes for the Sacred Sword right here. He misclicked, I guess. I'm not 100% sure why. He goes for the Shadow Sneak. I knew my Chandelure was going to survive a Shadow Sneak because Chandelure. I go for the Shadow Ball to take out his Aegis Slash very easily. Like, no doubt in my mind that was going to happen. And then I go for the Stone Edge onto his Volcarona after he does a quick Bug Buzz and does quite some damage. Nah, not too much, actually. Gyarados, surprisingly, is a special defensive wall for the most part. Or, well, not wall, but very special bulky, which I like that in Gyarados. And that was the first match. So, like I said, I'm going to be doing double battles from now on, and I'm going to be trying to do VGC, where, it's 4v4, so the matches are going to be a little quicker. So that's why I'm going to probably post full 2 out of 3 matches every time I post a video on YouTube. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and feel free to message me, challenge me to any VGC doubles and what have you, whatnot. So here, we lead off with the same guys again, and I learned from my mistakes. I learned that Politoed can one-shot my Kangaskhan, and that's all I needed. So I Mega Evolve into Kangaskhan, and I go straight for the return onto the Politoed, thinking that my Rotom might not kill it, and just to get some damage on it. Obviously, his Toxicroak goes for the substitute again, because that's what that Toxicroak does, and he does it very well. And I go for the Thunderbolt and take out the Politoed, and now Kangaskhan is out and ready to play, ready to fight. So now my Rotom is definitely a big threat to his team, but my Kangaskhan, it's a Mega Kangaskhan, so it's always a threat. But he goes into a Azumarill, and I know that this Azumarill is not going to die to my Thunderbolt, so I go for the Power-Up Punch, just get that little bit more damage I needed in order to go for the knockout with my Thunderbolt. And I felt that getting the +2 on my Kangaskhan was going to help me, just to wreck his Toxicroak. Hit the sub and then hit the Toxicroak and then Thunderbolt. And I felt that I was going to survive the Drain Punch from him at that point because he didn't have a bulk up or anything. So now he goes into his Mawile, and now I'm at a +1 with my Kanga, -1 with my Rotom, but the Rotom doesn't necessarily matter. He goes for the Mega, and I think I go straight for the Hydro Pump on the Mawile this time because I realized Rain is still up, and I go for the return onto the Toxicroak, and without anything, a +1 Kangaskhan, like, it survived a return. Like, return did less than a quarter. And I'm saying to myself, what? And then he gets off his bulk up, but I still was astounded that Toxicroak just survived the +1 return from a Mega Kangaskhan, like with a quarter. Well, a little less than a quarter. And then he Megas, and I get a crit, and I get 2 crits. Like, that was 2 crits in a row. And I do a little more than half. Like, wow, Toxicroak is a monster. So I ended up trading this guy. He's traded him one of my Gyarados for one of his Toxicroaks because I want to see if I can't do something with this. So thank you very much, Aaron, for showing me how amazing Toxicroak is and how good at beating down Kangaskhan's it could be. So the Aegislash gets flinched from the Dark Pulse. Oh, I love Rotom. Definitely got a big boost with Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse allows it to hit Psychics very easily, allows it to get flinches, and it allows it to hit like ghosty ghosts like Gengar and such, and Aegislash too, if you don't want to use Thunderbolt. So I go into my Gyarados because those two guys are physically physical, and now the Krogunk, a Toxicroak is at neutral, and the Aegislash is at -1. So I take that very well. I go for the Power Up Punch on the Toxicroak to get up to a +3, because like I said, I knew I can take a Drain Punch from it, especially that it's neutral now, back to neutral. So I'm not too afraid. So he goes for the Drain Punch, and instead of hitting the Kangaskhan, he hits the Gyarados. And I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. So I'm a +3 Kanga, and he's a +1 defense Toxicroak. And the rain just stopped, so now he's not getting the mega uber healing. So lefty, oh, I see why. He's got lefties on his Aegislash, that's why he has Shell Bell on his Azumarill. I still say Citrus Berry would be better than leftovers, or than Shell Bell. So here I go for the return, and like that return did nothing. It like a Toxicroak is just eating it up. And every Aegislash I have ever seen, ever will see, I'm always gonna taunt it first, just because it just now I don't have to deal with the okay, is he gonna King Shield, is he gonna Swords Dance, is he gonna whatever, and blah 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 blah. So Kangaskhan's out now, and Aegislash getting a little leftovers recovery. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I think I go return my Gyarados because a dead Gyarados is useless and a near dead Gyarados still can intimidate. Going out into my Malamar because this is the best thing I got to take a Shadow Sneak. And I go for a return again on the Toxicroak, and like it doesn't kill the Toxicroak. And I'm like, what? And look at the damage! That's a neutral! That is a neutral attack Toxicroak right now, because of the Intimidate, and it does 3/4, easily 3/4, and he's just nomming all of my hits. So now my Kangaskhan goes down because he double attacks it. Because at that point, like if he didn't do anything to it, the Kanga would have swept the whole team, the rest of the team. So he did good at that point. So now I'll go back into my I'll go into my Chandelure. That's it, because I knew I could take the Shadow Sneak from the Aegislash. But here he probably should have went for the Sucker Punch. I don't know why he was afraid of the Malamar. Well, Malamar does carry Psycho Cut, so I guess, but it's like the Chandelure at this point was more of the threat than anything. So I just go straight for the superpower because even though he resists it, I mean, getting that +1 in attack and +1 in defense is very, very good. So that's why I did that. Then he goes out into his Volcarona, which is not VGC 14, but this is obviously not a VGC 14 match. So he goes for the Sucker Punch. It doesn't kill me. I go for the Shadow Ball, knock out his Toxicroak, and then go for the Rock Slide, and that ends the game. Well, thank you very much, Aaron, for the wonderful match, and I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to be putting up more double battles, and preferably VGC, as the days go on. I'm going to try to do one per day, one per 2 days or so. And rate, comment, subscribe. Have a good one, guys.